GAC AION. Well, it's kind of two brands, GAC and AION, but AION is the EV brand underneath the parent company called GAC. These guys were one of the biggest EV companies in the world last year in China, selling around 50,000 EVs per month. They are officially coming to Australia. They'll be here next month in November. 3 different models will be available in November. Apparently, you'll be able to take delivery if you do place an order within weeks, but there'll only be a limited amount of stock this year. I've just spoken to the PR department for AION. I've given them a call because, guys, actually, I was about to go for a surf. Here's the wetsuit, putting it on, and then I just thought, I'll just have a look, and I saw there was a message. AION saying 3 models coming. Here's what those 3 models are. One of them is fully electric. One of them is a plug-in hybrid. It's an MPV. And one of them is a little hatchback, which is a petrol-powered car. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. I don't think you guys are all that interested in that. 3 different models. So let's have a look at what those 3 are. I will do separate videos on both the plug-in hybrid and the EV. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. If you haven't already subscribed yet, make sure you do. And also, probably more importantly than subscribing to YouTube is actually subscribing to our newsletter, because most of the videos you see on YouTube, you're not going to see most of my videos. I've done 7,500. I'm going to guess most of them haven't appeared in your feed. So just click on the link in the description. There's a link to our newsletter, and that goes out daily. You can actually then see the videos that we do and decide which ones you do or don't want to watch. AION. This is one of the biggest car brands in China. These guys are certainly not a small company. They're bringing in the GAC GS3 M Zoom, which is a small SUV, kind of like the size of a Volvo EX30. It's petrol-powered, 1.5-litre turbocharged engine, 4.4 meters long. It doesn't really interest me, to be honest. So let's have a look at the 2 cars that do interest me. First of all, you guys might think this is going to be potentially a good car. It looks very much like a traditional SUV, and a lot of people have said to me, my cousin, one of them, he said, Sam, I really want a traditional looking SUV. I don't want one of these vehicles like your Xpeng G6 or a Tesla Model Y. They look more like an EV. I want a boxy shaped EV, and this is a more boxy shaped EV. It almost looks like a petrol car, but it's not. The AION V was once one of the best selling vehicles in China, and it's going to be available, I believe, in about a month's time here in Australia. It gets similar dimensions to the Geely EX5, but it's a little bigger than a Geely EX5 just because it's basically a very boxy shaped car, which I quite like, actually. Like I said, similar size to an EX5. It's 4,605 millimeters long, 1,854 millimeters wide, and 1,686 millimeters high. So nearly, not quite as big as a Tesla Model Y or an Xpeng G6. It's kind of like one size down. But because it's a boxy shaped car, you're actually going to find it'll have quite a lot of space on the interior. What about pricing? Well, I'd say pricing will be similar to the Geely EX5, maybe slightly more expensive because it does have a bigger battery and faster charging than Geely's EX5. But I'll get to what those specifications are. WLTP range, 485 kilometers. So about the same range as a BYD C-Line 7. As you can see, the interior looks pretty much like most Chinese EVs, quite modern. You've got a pretty big 15-inch central touchscreen, and there's a 10-inch touchscreen right in front of the driver. Very, very minimalist. I think the interior looks great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's nice. Apparently, it'll have 19-inch wheels and semi-autonomous driving technology, but the 75 kilowatt-hour battery it's going to get will be lithium-ion phosphate. I think that's a good thing. It will feed a single 150 kilowatt electric motor on the front axle. So it's front wheel drive, 150 kilowatt. And that gives it, like I said, around 485 kilometers of WLTP range. Charging speed is actually pretty good in comparison to its rivals. It's 180 kilowatt DC charging, meaning, well, according to AION, 30 to 80% takes around 16 minutes. That's not too bad. Quicker than, obviously, competitors in that space. But AC charging is not so good, 6.6 kilowatt AC charging, which, yeah, I mean, hopefully they can upgrade that. Maybe it'll be better when the model actually is launched. I just spoken to them. They said that official specs will come out within the next couple of weeks. Now, I should mention that in China, there is actually other variants with ultra fast charging technology. There is a version that can charge at 350 kilowatt. There's also a version that can charge from 30 to 80% in 10 minutes and a 6C version that could do it in 5 minutes. So apparently there's a version of this car in China that the battery can charge at about 600 kilowatt charging speeds. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to assume that's probably not coming, but that appears to be an option in China from what I can see. If you look at reviews on this car, there's some reviews because it's available in different countries outside of Australia. The biggest things that reviewers say is they like its design, the fact that it's got quite a bit of interior space, and the interior is a very, very comfortable place to be. But obviously, we're not going to really know what this car is actually like until it hits Australia. One point of a possible negative could be the soft suspension. A comfortable ride, that's what they say, the reviewers are saying, but quite soft suspension. I'm personally not a big fan of soft suspension, but that's just my personal taste. Some people really like it. So official pricing hasn't been released, but I suspect it'll be around 45,000 Australian dollars, which would make it a really good option in this segment. The M8 plug-in hybrid. This is an MPV. It's a plug-in hybrid with a 25 kilowatt hour battery, which GAC or AION say it's going to give it a range, EV-only range of about 100 kilometers, which is pretty good, I'd say. Now, I've been told it's actually going to be the GAC E9, which is also called the AION M8. A bit of confusion there. AION M8, GAC E9, both basically pretty much the same car. What are the specs for this family car? I think there's not many choices in this sector, the MPV sector. There's not a lot of options available, so this could be a good option for some families. I personally think that I'd prefer a plug-in hybrid versus something like a Kia Carnival, which is purely petrol or diesel. But then again, you know me, I obviously want a fully electric car, so I wouldn't be buying a plug-in hybrid personally, but this could be a good option for some families. It is a pretty decently sized vehicle. It's 5.2 meters long, and it's also 1.9 meters wide. So about, similar size to something like a Kia Carnival. What about the specs? It's got a 2-liter turbocharged engine, puts out a combined 274 kilowatt of power and 630 newton meters of torque, although I'm not sure if those specs are quite accurate because performance is not particularly fast. It does 0 to 100 in 8.8 seconds. So it's not the slowest or the fastest MPV. It's acceptable, I guess you'd say. Combined range using petrol, using the engine as well, is 1,032 kilometers WLTC. Really, that's going to be probably maybe 850 kilometers of combined range in the real world, which is still good and certainly would be a good road trip car. Now, interestingly, the transmission, it's a 2-speed dedicated hybrid transmission called a DHT, and it supports DC fast charging. 30 to 80% takes around 30 minutes. But that said, guys, in China, there's actually an upgraded model which can charge the battery apparently in 8 minutes. So the super fast charging version, I think it can charge at about 350 kilowatt charging speed, which is awesome. But then there's another version that I believe charges at 50 kilowatt charging speed. I don't know which one Australia is going to get. Obviously, the really fast charging one would be, in my opinion, a much better option. AC charging looks to be around about 3.5 hours to charge the battery. So I'm going to guess that's probably about 4 kilowatt AC charging. Now, as you can see, the interior is actually quite a luxurious car. A lot of Chinese MPVs are really, really nice on the inside. This first and second rows have premium semi-aniline leather seats with heating, ventilation, and massage. So it's both the front seats and the second row seats. The third row has leather or PVC seats, depending on the trim. There is a 12.3-inch digital instrument panel right in front of the driver. There's also a 14.6-inch touchscreen in the middle, and it has an Adigo intelligence system supporting voice recognition, smartphone connectivity, and navigation. In addition, a Yamaha audio system is included on higher trim levels. I don't know what trim levels we'll get in Australia. But anyway, that's basically the specs for the for the plug-in hybrid MPV, which is pretty good. My question is there going to be some fully electric cars such as the Xpeng X9, which might be potentially within the ballpark of affordability? Because I think this is going to be maybe initially the only really affordable plug-in hybrid MPV in Australia. So it'd be good if we can see some other options to compete with this. To recap everything going on here, guys, GAC, this is one of the biggest auto conglomerates in China, bringing three models to Australia, and official specs we're going to get over the next couple of weeks. But those three models are a small petrol-powered SUV, just move that to the side, the AION V SUV, which is a similar size to the Geely EX5, slightly bigger, with a 75 kilowatt hour battery. Charging speed is around 180 kilowatt DC. And then there's the M8 plug-in hybrid. I think GAC might also bring in some other models to Australia as well, because these guys have quite a lot of models. So if you're kind of confused about this brand and you're thinking, I haven't heard about this brand, why have I not heard about it? Well, I've probably done about 30 videos on this brand over the past 4 years. So they certainly are a well-known brand, just not, just for some reason, out of the headlines, out of the news over the last 12 months. Not sure why. What do you think, guys? Do any of these cars actually appeal to you? Let me know if they do. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.